interviews you and they really listen, they get the juice. Always happens.
Okay.
So that's the deal. If you listen really well, then we'll give you the juice.
One thing that because we're in Greece, and there won't be a real-time translation.
You're going to translate.
No, we need to keep the accent more slow.
Speak slowly and clearly.
Yeah, so they can understand, so most of them can understand.
You speak slowly. Best of times.
So it's, I got your last name right, Glenn.
Glenny.
Glenny?
Yeah.
Okay.
Glenny, that's a planet.
Ενώ ακούμε τους Killers και το The Pretty Faces. Μαζί μας στο στούντιο είναι ο κύριος, is it Timothy Booth or is it Tim?
Tim. Only my mother calls me Timothy.
Oh, okay. I think we started on the wrong foot this interview. Και ο Jimmy Glenny μαζί μας, δύο από τα Jim Glenny, sorry. I get the Timmys and the Timothys and the Jimmys.
That's fine. Lots of people call me Jim.
Yeah?
Lots of people call me Jimmy.
Is it your mother as well?
My mother calls me James, but usually when I've been naughty, so when I've been bad.
Oh, okay. Then it's not like James, it's like
James.
And Timothy.
Δύο από τα ιδρυτικά μέλη των James. Is there a story behind the name of the band?
Oh, there's many stories.
Yeah, there are.
We make them up as we go along. But in the days of yore, in the past, people didn't have names that sounded like individuals, and we chose it for its unusualness. And we chose it because we all loved Jimmy.
Okay.
I'm not taking that one. Thanks, Paul. Much appreciated. I don't know. We wanted something that didn't sound like a band, really.
Like the statement.
Yeah, you know, so it messed with that idea, and they stole my name. Yeah, and I suppose it didn't really seem like such an important decision at the time. You know, nobody knew who we were. And,
okay, now you're giving me a great opportunity to ask you something for the first days, for the early days. Some of the people that are listening now, especially here in this city, this small city, but many people are into music. You know, they grab a guitar, they grab a bass, and they take some drumstick and start banging in order to play music, learn music, and maybe sometime find a way to success, maybe find the way to their dreams. How did you start? Did you imagine in some future that this was going to happen?
No, not at all. I mean, I think what pulled us together initially, at least, was a love of playing live. I mean, that's what pulled me into music. I mean, initially I kind of thought it'd just be a bit of fun, something I'd do for a little while, and you know, maybe that'd be it. And there was something about playing a live concert, even if there weren't very many people there, you know, and you didn't go down particularly well, that I just was absolutely loved. I loved the fear. I loved that kind of weird, odd relationship. I loved that little kind of bubble that you're in when you're on stage. And I think initially that's what kind of fueled us. It was that drive to play gigs and to write songs that we could play at those concerts. And I think we were quite introverted in those days. I don't think we were looking at a big picture. We certainly weren't looking at the business, you know, and how we release records or anything.
Become famous or make money or...
Not at all. Not at all.
I mean, we had a kind of unconscious certainty that what we did would work and would be good.
It felt good, it felt right.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. It was, you know, you could call it an arrogance, but it was like we kind of knew we'd be okay. But at the beginning, we wouldn't make records. We didn't want to make records, we just wanted to play live. And when we were offered the NME front cover, we were the only band in the history of the New Musical Express in England to turn it down. We didn't want that success, we wanted to become well known through our music. We were very naive. It took us 8 years to become successful. To become successful, we had 7-8 years of
Just playing gigs.
Just playing gigs and building. Now, by the time of those 8 years had finished, we were playing to 10,000 people a night in Manchester.
Before any production, before any records,
Before any of our stuff got played on radio, television, nothing got played on radio or daytime.
So it was just an interaction between you and the people that were following, the fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's a simple thing to play in a city to a few hundred people, and to play a great concert and go back a few months later and there'll be more people there.
Yeah.
You know, and especially in the UK, it's not a big country. It's easy to go around.
The UK is not a big country.
Well, as in geographically.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
Lots of people live there.
I think the thing is that you have good railway. You can get to one place.
And
So,
motorways. You know,
yeah,
it's easy to be in a van and to drive and to play in the space of a few weeks all the major cities.
Could you do it without being, without having second jobs, like primary jobs? Was it financially?
We were very poor.
The government financed us.
Yeah.
We were unemployed.
The government.
We were unemployed, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you got the monthly check.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was very, very high unemployment in the UK during that period. It was when Thatcher was in charge.
That
Thatcher.
beautiful lady.
That beautiful,
wonderful
wonderful,
lady,
wonderful
that
lady.
wonderful personality.
But because there was so many people unemployed, they kind of left you alone. You know, they didn't push you to get jobs because there weren't any jobs to push you into. So you could be in a band and kind of keep your head down, and you could just about kind of play around. And that came a point where we were getting press, where we had to kind of come clean, didn't we? Basically, we had to kind of come off the dole. But we were poor for many years. Really, we struggled, and we did lots of things around that to try to.
Do you miss that period? Do you miss that time?
I don't miss the poverty.
I mean the bubble. I mean the feeling of we're in a band, we're all together, and we're doing what we like.
I don't think I miss it.
Well, we have it now.
Yeah.
We still have it.
Why did you break up in 2001?
I left in 2001 because relationships within the band had been tough in the late 90s.
Okay.
And the band wasn't. It wasn't.
It
We
wasn't-
weren't healthy.
It wasn't rock and rolling. It wasn't.
No, it was rock and rolling. It was a bit too much rock and roll.
okay.
It
wasn't for the fun.
It wasn't a pleasant environment to be in. It wasn't you didn't wake up in the morning and go, oh great, I've got a day of doing this. And musically, I think great. I think we produced some wonderful stuff.
No, you did.
But the relationships around it just made it really unpleasant thing to do.
And actually, when I walked away, we'd actually sorted some of those relationships out. Ironically, I think the worst period had been just before we split, and then the last year wasn't so bad, but it just felt like it was time to move on. And we'd made a really great record with Brian Eno, and I thought it's going to be hard to get better than this when we're still quite dysfunctional in terms of our communication.
You still dysfunctional.
Well, no. So the point about starting again was seeing that our relationships had changed and people have had kids and people
It was more clear.
It was clearer. We're still dysfunctional. Yes, we are still dysfunctional, but we're much better. We're not like in the 90s. We're getting on better than we've ever got on, and we are quite an insular group who are passionate about the music we make. We're back to that feeling that we had at the beginning. We're actually enjoying ourselves more now than I think any time.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think in those early years you talked about, there was we had a lot of struggles with the business and with the industry, and it was hard to get our music out to people, and that was quite frustrating. And I think we had to be, quite strong and determined to get through that.
Yeah.
But I think that took a lot of the fun out of it as well, in a way. I think we were quite serious about it all. And then once we got the success, things just started to get difficult. I think we lost some of that initial.
You lost your focus. You
Just
lost your.
a little bit personally, musically, weirdly enough, it's never seemed to get in the way. Because I look back on those records and I go, even though the relationships were a mess,
The
the
music
music
was
is
good.
great. So that side of it, fine. But roundabouts it, big problems. And I think what we've come back to now really is just the best of both worlds. We've stepped back into our jobs, and we're still successful, but we've brought some wisdom to it as well now, and a little bit of maturity to some degree, which means we can enjoy it as well, which is just wonderful. It's the best of both worlds.
So I guess it's good times. So
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
you're having good times.
Yeah.
One thing, back in the 90s, your songs were about love. Your songs were about feelings, emotions. The last one, not the night before. Hey Ma.